then you got to do that. So it's kind of like getting up in the morning where you got to decide what pair of pants you're going to put on, or what pair of shorts you're going to put on, and then what pair of what shirt you're going to put on, and what pair of shoes you have on. Can't put them all on at the same time, so they're successive. One occurs, then the second one occurs, and the third one occurs, and that key phrase is there. Now, when we read it in words, we're going to see something that implies an and statement in an exercise. An and tells us this has got to happen, and then this has got to happen, and then this has got to happen, and then this has got to happen. So you've got multiple events that are part of your big picture activity. So now it would be like pick 4 cards out of a deck of cards. Now we have a little bit more challenge in the problem. You would expect to see an and statement. The multiplication principle tells us that we're going to take the total number of ways that your experiment can take place, that your activity can take place, for each item, and we're going to multiply those together. If they're independent events, then event number 1 doesn't have anything to do with event number 2. And if that happens, then we're a little bit safer. But when event number 1 has something to do with event number 2, we have to deal with that a little bit differently. So to make this simple, what we're going to do here is we're going to use a fill-in-the-blank approach. Teaching this class is interesting because people come to this class with a lot of different backgrounds. Some of you may, in your existence in the mathematical world, have heard of the following 3 terms: factorial, permutation, combination. If you've heard of those things and you understand them, good for you. But I don't want them used in here. We're going to do something a little bit different. And I'll tell you right now that if you think you understand factorials, permutations, and combinations, and you use it as a support work on your test and the question is wrong, you're not getting any partial credit. Because we ain't talking about the nasty 9-letter word permutation, the nasty 9-letter word combination, or the nasty 8-letter word factorials. Okay? Factorial. More than 8 letters. Maybe that's 9 letters too. I don't know. I can't count. What do we mean by that? Real simple. You're going to draw a blank for each one of the individual components of your event, of your activity. And eventually, the numbers we stick on those blanks are going to be multiplied together. But the blanks exist for 2 reasons. Some of the problems will have denominators for a fraction, which if you draw blanks, you have the built-in look of what a fraction is going to be. If you don't have a denominator or all the denominators are 1, then the blanks are just kind of like fill in the blank type of situation. But if we all approach this the same way, then we get the easiest way to look at the problem. And again, if you've got a different way and it works for you, and you never make a mistake, then fine. I'm okay with that, because I can do it other ways as well. So you have 2 questions to ask. Question number 1, does the order in which I arrange these elements that I have selected make a difference? If you answer yes to that, then there's only one place to place each of the items that you have selected. You're thinking, what does he mean by that? Okay, let me put it this way. What do you type to get into your email? Your W number, right? Do you have to type the W? It's the first thing you type, right? And then you've got, what, 7 letters? Something like that? If you transpose 2 of your letters, are you going to get into your email? Does the order in which you type those numbers make a difference? Absolutely. If you're trying to call Grandma, Nana, and you have the right prefix, 985, or 225, or 504, wherever it happens to be, 337, 601 if you're from Mississippi, or other places, okay? And you have the right index, like at Southeastern 549, and but you make a mistake in the last 4 digits. You got the right numbers, but you rearrange them accidentally. You type them in wrong. Is Nana going to answer the phone? And if she does, you wonder whose house she's at, right? Because you know you dialed the wrong number. Order makes a difference when it creates a unique identifier for a person, a place, or a thing. License plates. If you're driving down the interstate at 90 miles an hour and you pull over by a state trooper and he transposes 2 numbers in your license plate, are you getting the ticket?
No.
And are you happy?
Yes.
Yes. But what are the chances of that happening? Not very good. So a license plate is a unique identifier. A phone number is a unique identifier. A social security number, W number, is a unique identifier. Officers in a club are unique identifiers. Because the president gets the big office, gets the bigger salary, and gets to tweet idiot things in the middle of the night. The vice president gets sent on all of these visits out of country because the president wants to tweet at night. The treasurer got a different set of responsibilities. The secretary, a different set of responsibilities. President's got the bigger office, the bigger salary, the plusher seat, the nicer, so there's some special perk that he gets from being that. Or there's some special responsibility. The buck stops here, something like that. If the order doesn't make a difference, meaning, oh, I don't really care about what role you have, I just need 3 people to form a committee. Do I care if it's A, B, and C, or C, A, and B? If someone tells me pick 3 letters to play on a Scrabble board, and I pick the letters P-A-T, does it make a difference if I put them down as P-A-T, or T-A-P, or A-P-T? Different words, right? But I still put the same 3 letters in each case, right? If it's a different word, order makes a difference. If it's just what 3 letters did you have, I don't care what order they happen to be in. If we talk about a family, and one mother says, I have 2 boys and 1 girl, and another mother says, oh, I have something different. I have 1 girl and 2 boys. Everybody looks at the second person like, are you crazy? Because isn't 1 girl and 2 boys the same thing as 2 boys and 1 girl? Now, the order might be important to them, and everybody knows if you've got a sibling that there is a pecking order in the house somewhere along the line. Mom liked you best because you were the firstborn. Mom liked you best because you were the lastborn. My sisters always told me that my mom liked me best because I was the only boy. And until I was 15, I thought that was a compliment. Turned out not to be a compliment, okay? So yes, I have 6 sisters, and I'm the only boy. So that explains some of my weirdness up here, right? Okay. At any rate, when you answer no to that question, if there are multiple places you could put that item down, then we have to figure that into the possibilities of the arrangement as well. That's where the denominators are going to come into play. If there are 3 seats sitting around a table up there, and I say I need 3 people to come up here and be a committee. The first person comes up and he finds 3 seats and he looks at me and he goes, where do I sit? What am I going to tell him? I don't care. Pick a seat. How many seats does he have to pick from? There would be 3. When the second person comes up, if he asks me, where do you want me to sit? And I tell him I don't care, how many choices does he have? Now only 2. And then the last person ain't got no choices, does he? Got to sit in the only remaining one. However, if those were officers of the club, and this one had a nameplate in front of it that said president, and this one had vice president, and this one had treasurer, if the first person came up and he wasn't the vice president, he shouldn't be sitting in the second seat, should he? Order makes a difference there. There's only one place he's supposed to sit. So that's kind of what we're looking at with our question and answer type of problem. Does order make a difference? Second question to ask yourself, if I've already selected an item, am I free to use it again, or is it restricted? If it's once I've used, I can't use it again. That will be told to you in the body of the problems. So for example, if we're talking about selecting numbers for a license plate, they may say numbers cannot be repeated, which means once you use a 9, you can't use a 9 anyplace else in that letter, in that license plate. If we say that numbers can be repeated, then we can use that 9 again. We'd have all of our digits be 9 possibly out there. So we have to look for that repetition as well. But basically, that's kind of a subset of playing fill in the blanks. So how are the questions going to look? Well, this is the way the questions are gonna look. So from here on out, we have nothing but questions. A combination